Joining us now, co-founder of Punchbowl News, Jake Sherman. He is an MSNBC political contributor. And also with us, NBC News justice reporter Ryan Riley. Gentlemen, thanks to you both for being here on such an important morning. Jake, let's start with you. Give us the sense of the reaction on Capitol Hill, particularly from Republicans, to Trump's second federal indictment. This one, of course, hits close to home for so many who were in the Capitol on January 6th, trying to avoid a mob, as I know you were, who was fueled to violence by Trump's lies.
So the reaction is relatively predictable, John, which is that Republicans are saying this is a distraction from their investigations into Donald Trump, which is, I would say laughable, to be honest with you. But on top of that, I mean, this is something, as we point out in our morning edition this morning, this is not for members of Congress abstract like the document case, which was something that Donald Trump did or didn't do on his own volition in his home. This is something. This was a case that played out in real time in the public, meaning Donald Trump, according to this indictment and according to reality, because we were all watching this, sowed doubts about the election and the election process, which indirectly or directly led to the January 6th attack on the Capitol, which hundreds of members of Congress lived through and were escorted through the Capitol by SWAT team members with machine guns. We all witnessed that. Many of us were there. So listen, the biggest reprieve here, I would say, is that members of Congress are on recess until the middle of September. And when they return, it will have been more than a month since this indictment was handed down. But the reality is it's 460 days, John, until the 2024 election, and hundreds of members of Congress, 222 people in the House, 11 Senate Republicans, are going to be running and answering questions for the next 460 days as to whether Donald Trump deserved to be indicted and all the particulars of this case.
Yeah, and certainly the case will provide a backdrop to that campaign. But to your point, Republicans have made clear that their probes into Hunter Biden will continue. Ryan, tell us about the judge that's been assigned to this case. There's been so much talk about Aileen Cannon, the judge in South Florida, about how there's fears that she may be sort of deferential to the former president's team. But tell us about the one here in the District of Columbia.
Yeah, if Trump got really lucky in Florida, he got very unlucky in D.C. because this judge, Judge Chutkan, has actually been the harshest sentencer of January 6 defendants. Have sat through or listened in on a lot of January 6 cases that she's overseen, and especially with those lower level cases where the Justice Department was recommending home detention, for example, she's said no. Those cases deserve some sort of period of incarceration. She's done that on several cases that we've seen thus far. Now, she's also departed downward in cases where, or she's gone below the what prosecutors had sought in several January 6 cases, but she, as the Associated Press has laid out, in the most number of January 6 cases, she's gone upwards, or at least given the government what they wanted in the vast majority of her cases overall. So, this is a person who takes what happened on January 6 very seriously, and so there have to be consequences for what took place that day, the mob violence that we saw. She also was involved in the handing over of the documents when Trump challenged this to begin with. So, honestly, if we follow the pattern that we've seen in other cases, it's very easily predictable that we're going to see a lot of really awful racist attacks on this judge. That's just frankly what we've seen in the past. And, there's been a huge difference between sort of Trump's enemies who are, just white males and the other and the individuals he's targeted who are not. So I think that that's what we can expect. I've seen that, personally in a lot of the cases that she's handled on January 6th thus far that haven't involved Trump. So I think we can, frankly, expect that going forward, things to get ugly. It's just a matter of how ugly it's going to get.
Yeah, this could be deeply disturbing in the months ahead. Jake, we know the Republicans so often try to create false equivalencies, throw up the smoke screen, try to distract from Trump's latest legal or political woes. Take us inside the thinking of House Speaker McCarthy, if you will, as to how they think they're going to approach this one. It was just a few days ago where he seemed to try to tamp down the impeachment inquiry talk into President Biden. And then only a couple of days later, we heard former President Trump push him to do that again.
Yeah, I think this increases the likelihood of an impeachment. I think McCarthy will again say that this is a distraction. He said that last night, a distraction into the investigations. I think the investigations will hit a fever pitch, John, when Congress returns in September.
All right. Well, Jake Sherman, thank you so very much. And Ryan Riley, thank you as well. We're going to be watching your coverage throughout the day here on MSNBC. We appreciate it, both of you. Still